is driving in from Columbus, and Councilman Bowers said he'd be a little bit late, so they may join us anytime. And I think you've met everyone else, so thank you again for being here. And I will be quiet and let you just brief us. And do you want to just do interactive questions as they come up?
Yes, please,
okay.
please,
All right.
by all means.
Okay, thank you.
And just so we're all on the same page, my goal today is really just to, because I know Tammy, you've heard all about Educare, frontwards, backwards, from side to side, so you're going to hear some stuff
Good.
over again.
That's good.
But to make sure we're all at the same place, and Benny, you've heard this as well, I'm going to start pretty much from the beginning in terms of who we are and what we do. And then from there, we'll layer up into more specifics. But like you said, Tammy, any questions that you have, obviously there'll be time at the end. I think I have until 2
o'clock.
And
Yeah.
that's
Does that work?
Q&A
Yeah.
at the end of the Q&A, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Total
No,
time. Okay.
that's fine.
Great.
So there will be some time built in towards the end, but again, as questions come up, just let me know. All right.
Yes.
Thank
you.
Thank you. And yeah, so thank you all for having me. So at its core, the question is, who is Educare? What do we do? And I'll start with our mission, then we'll walk through kind of some commonalities that you'll find in the Educare. Educare Lincoln, our mission is to help young children thrive socially, emotionally, and academically through high-quality childhood education and partnership with their families and the community. All right? And I wrote that down so I didn't get anything wrong with that. That's important and critical. And in fact, we just updated this mission from probably a 5 or 6 sentence mission, which was of good use, but it didn't drive home to the core of who we are and what we do. So what does this mission actually mean? What is it that we do? In so many words, Educare is designed to support high-needs families with 0 to 5 early childhood education, and also supports for the family. Because we recognize the families that we work with and serve typically come to us with a varying list of challenges and or needs, and requiring certain supports. And it's our job and our mission to support those families and those children as it relates to early childhood education. So, Educare, there are 25 Educares across the country, soon to be 26. We're building a new one in San Antonio, I believe, somewhere in Texas. We are all independently run. So I report to my own board of directors. We are our own 501c3, which, again, back to the mission, gave us the jurisdiction to update our mission based on our local needs and concerns. But wherever you go across the country, engaged with Educare, you're going to find that we're all based on 4 Ps. We can kind of talk through those 4 Ps. Program, place, partnership, and platform. And on that first document, those are those 4 Ps I'm going to talk through. So program, what does that mean, and what does that look like? If you come into Educare, and by the way, all of you are invited out to Educare for a site visit. I want you all to come out, and I'll certainly follow up appropriately to make sure we can get you out in motion. But when you walk through the building and the walls of Educare, and you peek into any one of our 15 classrooms, unless there's a vacancy or someone's out sick, you're going to find 3 teachers in each classroom. We do not use the term teacher loosely. We use the term teacher because that is in fact who we're employing at Educare. Could we hire and employ someone fresh out of high school with little or no experience but has a passion for caring for kids? Yeah, sure we could. But that's not the model of Educare. We want to ensure that as levers are being pulled to change the lives of children, that those working hands-on with those children understand the impact of the levers that they're pulling. So for every action that they take with the child, what's the expected reaction? What's the expected outcome? And our goal is that we send our kids beyond our walls into kindergarten, or send our kids beyond our walls better prepared for kindergarten and lifelong success. So when that's your mission and that's your objective, you want to make sure that the people who are caring for these kids understand the impact of the work that they're deploying for these children. So we have 3 teachers in each of our classrooms. We have a teacher aide, an associate teacher, and a lead teacher, all with varying levels of education, up to 4-year degrees with certifications in early childhood education. So we are hiring the best of the best because, again, of the work and impact that we do. In addition to our classroom teachers, we also have, and I'm not going to run you through the whole hierarchy of Educare, but I'm going to talk to you about those critical components that really differentiate us from other early care centers that you might be accustomed to. In addition to our classroom teachers, we have mentor teachers, and their job, if you keep up with sports, football, volleyball, whatever sport is your thing, you recognize that there is a coach and then there's a team, or the players, I should say. The coach is part of the team. Our mentor teachers are our coaches. They're going to see things happening in and around the classrooms that the teachers, the players, are not seeing because they're too close to what's happening. So the mentor teacher's job is to work with the teachers or work with the professionals doing the work to coach them, supervise them, and of course intervene when there are some challenges happening in the classroom. So while our teachers have been trained formally to do this work, we also have those that are trained professionally to support them at being better at what they do. So it's the workforce supporting the professionals in the classroom. The last component that I'll speak to that differentiates us from from most other early care centers is the work that we deploy for our families. We have five family engagement specialists on our team, whose job it is to support the families in the education of their child. Whether you're talking about education for a high needs population or education for a more privileged population, the fact is the success of the child in the classroom is contingent upon the engagement of the families. Families should be engaged in education, as we know, as you know as a former school board member. So that's not something that we do or an expectation that's special because of our population. But what we recognize is that our families, while trying to engage in the education of their child, there's certain constraints that they have or certain barriers that they have before them that may prevent them from being fully engaged. And the job of our family engagement specialist is to help remove or remedy those challenges that our parents and our families face. The good news about Educare is that if you sit in our lobby over the course of a week from 7 to 5, you'll see all types of people walk in our building. All types of people. Some people you may know, some people you don't know, some people that look like you, some people that don't look like you. And that's the beauty of Educare. You never know how people show up to our doors and how they're going to leave 2, 3, 4, or 5 years later. Because our job is to move people up out of whatever circumstance they're in. And the good news is we don't put them out after we get them past that point. We keep them there and continue to support and work alongside them as they continue to fulfill their own personal life missions, whatever they are. So program is the first P. The next P is place. So when I'm walking people through the building, you get a sense that Educares are very well done buildings. Our building was built 10 years ago, and it's still, it's a well-maintained building and facility, but it still looks brand new. It still looks and feels innovative as you walk through and see the structure of the building. That's by design. We want to ensure that when people walk into our buildings, they understand very clearly that if we want to achieve the outcomes that we hope to achieve for 0 to 5-year-old children, we have to make the investments that are necessary to achieve those outcomes. And our buildings are very clear and tangible demonstrations of that. I oftentimes tell people when I host them or we do site visits or have this conversation, anywhere USA, if someone said they needed to build a new high school. Now, obviously, if taxes are going to be raised, people will say, hey, what's happening? You don't have to raise taxes. But let's set that aside. The building of the facility, most people understand. Like, well, yeah, we need new high schools because our kids need to be advanced when they go off to universities and colleges and be prepared for the real world. We get that. We understand it. Universities, we build new wings on universities and booster clubs and all. They donate a lot of money to build these huge, magnificent buildings. People get it. But yeah, when they leave high school, they go to college, you send them out to the workforce and they have to be ready and prepared. Technology, right? You tell them you're going to build an $8, $9, $10 million early care facility. It's like, whoa. right? That's the response. Like, no, you can stick them in the basement, paint over the mold and put the emergency windows up. Right, we get it. We don't want that. But the message that I'm trying to convey is not that colleges or high schools are less important or not necessary, because they absolutely are. The message that I'm conveying on behalf of early care everywhere is that we are just as important as a multi-million-dollar university wing or a multi-million-dollar school. I don't know price tags for these things anymore. I might be undercut. It might be $1 billion. I don't know. But the point is, what I want to convey is that if there's 85% of the brain is developing within the walls of Educare. 85. So 85% of who you are today, Benny, it happened between the ages of 0 and 5. Maybe 8, depending. And if you go up to
No,
8,
I
it
think
might
it
go
stopped
up
at 5.
I think it stopped at 3 with him.
In the basement of an old school.
Well, you have some loving, caring people down there working with you.
Yes.
And so 85% of the brain is developing within our building. And I oftentimes tell people, if you have 1 unit of time, 1 unit of treasure, 1 unit of talent, and you're going to look to make an impact on people, on humans, you do it where the brain's developing. And 85% is developing right there within our walls of Educare. Now, following up on Benny's comment, does every building or facility have to look like Educare or feel like Educare for kids to be successful? No, absolutely not. But what it does require is a core group of care and passionate people that understand that to achieve the outcomes that we hope to achieve, we have to invest where our kids need the investments most. If it's facility, invest in the facility. If it's professional development, invest in professional development. If it's curriculum, invest in the curriculum. But without those investments, we aren't going to achieve the outcomes we hope to achieve. So program place, partnership. Again, 25 educators across the country. We're all founded with 3 key partners. A school district partner, a funding partner, and a local evaluation partner. Our school district partner is Lincoln Public Schools. In our building, they help maintain the facilities, the grounds, they keep the lights on, they keep the building looking as it looked on day one. They do a phenomenal job of it. In addition to that, they also provide disability and special education supports for our kids and our families. The win for us is that we have a competent partner in that work. The win for them, among many other wins, is that they're building relationships with kids and families who are most likely, probably 99% or so, are going to enroll in a Lincoln Public School. If they can build that relationship with those kids and families today, the easier it is as they transition into kindergarten and beyond. Our funding partner, in our case here in Lincoln, is Buffett Early Childhood Fund. Buffett does not, and you can check our 990s, Buffett does not fund us in totality. We are a 501c3. While they are a considerable partner and we couldn't do this work without them, there is still a substantial amount of work that has to be done to fulfill the budget that we need to fulfill on an annual basis. So knocking on doors, grants, foundations, individual contributions, city, state support as well, government support. So it's really a truly blended funding model that allows us to implement and sustain the work we have to do on an annual basis. Our local evaluation partner, University of Nebraska-Lincoln. If I go out and I share with people like, yeah, Educare Lincoln is the best thing next to sliced bread. If people still say that, I don't know, maybe they do. Okay, that's fine if you know me and trust me and believe me. Like, well, that's Quinn. He has no reason to fabricate anything. Benny knows me well. But for those that don't know me, that doesn't really hold weight. Me going out and saying anything I want to say about Educare. But what does hold weight is this 24-page evaluation, annual program evaluation report. This is 21-22, most recent. That's done through University of Nebraska, Lincoln, through the College of Child, Youth, and Family Studies. They're in our building on a regular basis, daily, weekly even, assessing our children, surveying our teachers, surveying our families, and determining if we are in fact doing what we say we're going to do. And while I'm not going to read 23 pages to you, I'm not even going to read the whole executive summary to you. I'm going to read the conclusion of the executive summary. Educare Lincoln demonstrates strong family partnerships, impact on child development, and high quality care, contributing to Educare Lincoln's continued success. The local evaluation shows positive outcomes, and Educare Lincoln is responsive to addressing the areas identified for improvement to better meet the needs of our families, children, and staff. That is the conclusion of the executive summary of a 24-page data report that's produced by UNL. So that's our evaluation partner. Are we doing what we say we're going to do? We absolutely are. The last P, and I'll open it up for questions. So program, place, partnership, and platform. We can serve up to 191 children and families in our building, which is great for those kids and families that we can serve. The challenge is there are thousands of other kids and families outside of Educare that fit our demographic that still have high needs. The value of Educare, when communities have educators in their community, you want a strong Educare. We're not going to serve every kid in the community. Like I said, we can only serve 191. That's our building capacity. But what happens when you have a strong Educare is that we have the ability to support kids and families that are not at all affiliated with our program, but affiliated with other programs. That second document that you have, and I won't go into any details on those, the internship, the partnerships, these are all programs designed not to directly impact our kids and families, but designed to impact kids and families outside and beyond Educare. And when you have a national network that's collecting data, that's funded by premier funders in their communities, when you do something right, people tend to listen. And you do something wrong, people still tend to listen. They might speak up even more so about the wrong things that you're doing. But the value of Educare is that we are a learning network. When we get something right, let's package it up and send it out to others. If we get something wrong, let's figure out why we got it wrong, fix it, or try something different, and hope for better outcomes, or shoot for better outcomes. So when you have an Educare, a strong Educare in your community, the benefits and values, or even when you invest in an Educare, the benefits and values go well beyond the walls of Educare and into the local communities that we serve. And those 5 programs on that draft document, it's only draft because of the wording on it. The programs are programs that are happening. So these are programs that we can appropriately speak to and talk about. But when you have a strong Educare in your community, you are in fact investing in and supporting kids and families outside of the building of Educare. So that went a little longer than I thought.
Perfect.
But I hope it was good information. I want to stop and pause and see what questions there are. See what we can do.
That was great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Questions for Mr. Brown? Tom?
Yeah.
Councilman Bauer, or Becky, yes.
What is my name?
Howard.
Oh. I'll take Bowers. It's fine.
Call him Tom.
Just call me Tom. Could you describe the average kiddo that comes into Educare's programming from the time they enter the programming at what age and until they leave the programming, typically at what age?
Yep. As far as age goes, our children usually show up to us. So we start at 6 weeks, 6 weeks all the way up to 5. Infant slots are very difficult to come by.
Sure.
When a family shows up as an infant, they don't leave until
They're in, yeah.
in
Yeah.
most cases, when you're in until
Yeah.
5. Most of our families show up to us between the ages of 6 weeks and 2, depending on the slots that are available and whatnot. So it all varies. In terms of needs, so our families never pay for services. Our families come to us with various backgrounds, whether it's it could be anywhere from homelessness, substance abuse, domestic violence, job loss. It could be a number of things or reasons why our families come to us. Ideally, as I shared earlier, as they make it, if they come to us at 6 weeks, ideally by the age of 1 or 2, families don't look the same as when they came to us, and they'll look completely different based on why they came and showed up. So the average child, I don't know if there is an average child.
Okay.
We have the average demographics that we work with, the age group. We're the most culturally diverse Educare across the country, serving families from 16 countries of origin. So that's. I mean, I get to the specifics of
Sure.
the question, but that's
Yeah.
That's kind of who we're
Sure.
who we're-
Sure. Thank you.
Yep.
Richard?
Yeah, thank you. And this is very enlightening. When we first started talking about Educare, it was all exactly what you're doing. It was all about, we knew we didn't have enough slots for the kids that would be available, that would want to be there. We knew it would be a great education for the teachers and for the mentors and everything else. So very happy that you're keeping with the university and doing that, because basically you're helping build a workforce for early childhood care, which is outstanding. So this has been great. Like I said, we talked about we only need 4 of these around the city, but
Right.
we could only talk Susie into so much. Well, she was the one that approached us on this whole thing and said Lincoln, and because of the university.
And the capital.
Yeah. And, yeah, that's right. It was a lot of political reasons too. So they would be aware of what's happening with the young. But no, and I was just wondering how it is working with WeScam, so.
Yeah. No, this guy's great. Actually, ironically enough, we received ARPA dollars through the county to renovate and redo all of our outdoor spaces.
Oh, good.
And so part of our LPS partnership is that when we break ground in that way, LPS is our partner to help facilitate that. So over the past year and a half, you should probably ask Scott how it is working with me. But no, Scott and his team, they're Clark and Tim, those guys are great to work with. We've renovated 2 of the spaces, and we're using the funds to finish up the final 3.
We finally got the street open for you or not?
The street is open. They finished this weekend.
Okay.
We were worried.
Yeah.
They thought we were out of school today, but I'm like, no, guys, we have parents coming today. We got to finish this up.
So, Quentin, first in Nebraska was your Educare, correct?
I'm sorry.
You were the first in Nebraska at Belmont. Educare was the first in Nebraska. I read on your website.
Oh, were you? No. So there are
No,
2.
can you talk
there
about that?
So there are 4 Educares in Nebraska.
Okay.
1 in Winnebago, 2 in Omaha, and
Yeah.
then us here in Lincoln.
Okay.
And I believe the one of the 2 locations in Omaha was the first. I
Okay.
believe.
Okay, I must have read that wrong. Anyway, so talk about, thank you for that clarification. Belmont, that area, is that mostly, do you think, I know that our time is close, but
Yeah.
children from that area, are they walk-ins? And then could you talk about the community garden a little bit?
Yeah.
I think that's really cool.
Yes. We draw children and families from all over the city. About 40% come from the Belmont zip code. They do not walk. All of our families transport their children in. And the remaining 60% come from all throughout the city. And yes, we do have a community garden, which is flourishing now thanks to our partnership with UNL, Master Gardeners. They come in on probably once a week or twice a month at worst, and take care of the garden. And this year, kids and families, as they come in, they drop off. You see little kids coming in with fresh peppers, with green beans, and they're biting them, and they're biting them. And they do that because our teachers incorporate that garden space as a classroom space, and they'll go out and educate based on gardening and all with the kids, which is cool to see them out there tasting stuff and spitting it out, and doing what kids do.
Yeah.
But we love introducing them to fresh, healthy foods and habits.
That's really important too. Do you anticipate other Educares in Lincoln?
My board tells me what to do and when to do it. As of today, there are no plans of another Educare. We have an opportunity to continue to extend and support out of the one facility that we have today. But we remain open to opportunities to partner with other centers and providers.
That's terrific.
You must be doing things right because we don't see you in the news.
Right.
Well, I thank you. I feel like I'm doing something right because the board has kept me around so long.
Yeah.
That's my barometer, right?
Benny has a question.
Thank you very much for coming forward, and thank you for sharing the facility with me. I've been lucky to visit there a couple times, did a couple readings there. I seem to remember you being a site visit from other organizations in the recent past. There you said there are 25 more nationwide. How often do you go to other sites, and how often do they come here? You talk about an exchange of information, and a learning network.
Most of our engagement collectively as a network happens once a year, and we kind of bounce around the country. But thanks or not thanks to COVID, we spend a lot of time on Zoom. So there's an executive leadership group, there's a school director group, family engagement group. So at any given moment, there's probably a conversation happening between colleagues, between Educare schools across the country. I'm on at least 4 a month, at least.
I thought you were going to
better or
say a
worse.
week.
No, that's at best. At worst might be 8 or 9.
You are full and fully staffed?
Yep. No, staff, no.
Okay.
No. We are. If you figure that one out, you let me know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Workforce shortage.
Yeah, for
Is
sure.
there a wait list for?
So the wait list fluctuates depending on the time of year.
Okay.
During enrollment, there is no wait list, but once we finish enrollment, the wait list balloons anywhere between 40 and upwards of 100
Sure.
plus. So if you ask me in the springtime, we will have a pretty substantial wait list.
Well, we really appreciate your time.
Thank
and-
you.
Yes,
No,
and
thank you all.
What you hear behind you is our directors are gathering and.
No, I blocked it all out. I'm on U5 right now. I'm on U5.
You're used to working with kids.
Yeah, right, exactly. I hear it, but I don't hear it.
Thank you so much for
Thank
your
you.
time.
No, thank you all.
We'll get Tom out there.
I'll
as
come
soon
to
as he learns
visit.
to
We'll do
read.
it.
As soon as I learn to read.
Thank you, Quentin, so
Thank you
much.
all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm gonna run to my office and get stuff.
Oh, okay. Well, wait. Do we have any?
I really haven't been there since they've been open. I was in there a few times before it was open.
You need to go back. It's really neat.
I was gonna say, if you're open to coming, we
Yeah,
can.
I'd like to see how it's being utilized,
By all
yeah.
means, let's do
From the
it.
infant rooms all the way down to the
Yeah?
older rooms.
Consider it done.
Yeah.
Are the infant rooms kind of up close to the front and then
No, they're spread throughout.
they're spread throughout?
Yeah, I mean, having them up front, there's no.
Have they been taking this design and done others? Does Educare, as they built more, they changed the design a little bit?
Yeah, so one, they design based on the local community, and two, they design on any new innovations that have come
And
up.
come up?
So I'm sure there have been a number since 2003 or 13. So yeah, they will build based on those.
On what they needs are there?
Yep.
Yeah, good.
Yeah. No, Tammy, thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it'd be great. Thank you so much.
Oh,
I'll
thank
be
you
out
again.
soon. Yeah,
Yes,
that'd be
so
great. Thank you.
pleasure.
It was likewise. Thank you so much. Thank you. See you soon.
Ready? Let's start our directors meeting. You and I.
Two of us. Madam
Hi,
Clerk.
Sony.
Should've came and tapped me on my shoulder.
Madam Clerk. We're just gonna go first name basis today.
Yes, it's pretty informal today, isn't it? You have Das Boot on.
Yeah.
Do you need crutches? Mine are,
You still got some?
yeah, I
Give 'em.
bought them.
Once they're done with pre-council though, because he needs some,
What's that?
is the pre-council done?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah,
Yes,
we're up
thank
to
you.
pre-council.
My son got one too on Thursday.
Did he?
On the same foot.
That's okay.